What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer taking a look at Spriggans. This is something that I think someone in the comments section told me to take a look at, and I just never got it. Like, it never clicked in my mind. But it is something that I've always had in the back of my head. Like, man, I would really like to like try to figure this out someday because I know that this card, Tally-Ho Spriggans, it's one of the most broken cards I've ever read in all of Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a soul charge for 3, no price to pay, and you also get to search. The unfortunate part is that all the Springans monsters stink. Like, they're not good. They don't do anything. They just exist in a space, right? But it doesn't mean we can't take advantage of the fact that they're level 4 monsters, which, if you watch this channel, you know that level 4 monsters are my favorite kinds of monsters in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! So let's take a look at how this works. Now, I am going to be using this Cashier package, but I'm going to be using it differently than I normally do. It's going to look the same in the beginning. I just think the Cashier engine is just one of the best ever made in terms of for rank 4s. Okay, so Cashier Theosis can bring out Fenrir. Fenrir can search, your level 4, obviously, with the Rice Heart, and then you get a special summon. Now, normally this is where you go into whatever the case may be, but I've never done this before, and I never really realized this, but my gosh, this is so good for rank monsters. So this is a rank 7. So it just requires 2 level 7 monsters, which is so random. Like, it's the most random thing I've ever heard. But Arsenal Falcon doesn't lock you into anything. I can't believe this. I can't believe nothing in this combo locked you. But it doesn't. Except into XYZ monsters, which obviously doesn't matter. So you can go ahead and bring out Raider's Wing from the deck. Now, we can go into the Spriggans stuff. So you can go into Merrymaker. Merrymaker lets you send a Spriggans monster to the graveyard. They basically all, if like the only relevant effect is that they all attach themselves to a Spriggans monster, which is really important because you're going to see here in a second that I'm going to rank up into Gigantic Champion Sargas. And I didn't realize when I started playing this that, yes, this isn't a Spriggans monster. That's so dumb. This should say, like, Gigantic Champion, Spriggans or something, or Gigantic Spriggans Sargas. I hate that. Like, I really do. I mean, there is a trap that's basically an Omni Negate for Spriggans, which you'll see here in a second, but you can search a Spriggans or a Therion card, so Regulus obviously is a really good target because all of these are machine monsters. And then there we go. You detach 3, you add 1 to your hand, and then you can bring back as many as that you detached. So I'm going to bring back 3, including, the Merrymaker, which is good for F-Zero. So you're just so much, like, you're so far ahead of the game at this point. So you can go ahead and go into, like, Utopic stage. This is, like, an XYZ engine that I really like. And then now you have your 2, rank 4s that you can bring on top of each other for F-Zero. And then, yeah, right, Raider's Wing came in from the graveyard, which is obviously very nice. In this case, like, I ended up searching this card, and I had, the Gold Golgonda. So you can banish it in another copy of its card to search out a Spriggans card. And then it's a continuous trap, which is really interesting. So, like, you can technically continue to use this, but when your opponent activates an effect, you return a Spriggans monster to the extra deck, and then you can negate it. So it is an Omni Negate, which is kind of cool. So you'll see what the end board looks like here in a second. And I can rank up into number 99. Like, I literally can't even use number 99. Like, the zones they're kind of crazy, like the way that this works out. And then this isn't ideal, but this is the end board. So this is an Omni Negate. This is going to get returned to the extra deck. So you can trigger the Dragonar. Same thing here. Like, whenever you use this Omni Negate as well, like, you can still use number 99. Now, you don't have to use both of these, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's still really good, right? This is also an interruption. It doesn't just do stuff. Like, it doesn't just sit there and, like, surge. If you detach material from an XYZ monster, you get to, like, bounce a card to the hand or destroy it. And it's like, when your opponent, when you detach the effect, you get to choose. It's not like, oh, like, when your opponent special summons a monster, you destroy it. Like, no, if your opponent, like, does something and then you have, like, back row, whatever the case may be, you can bounce anything that you want. It's not like, it's very versatile when it comes to the interruption for this card. And then this is, like, just literally F-Zero. Now, it does suck to have this guy kind of just sitting there on the board, but it's worth it, I guess, because, like, the end board's pretty cool. Like, it's good, especially because it's, like, Spriggans, right? Spriggans, like, it's so bad. Like, it's just, the main deck monsters really are just not good. Kind of the same thing here, although I don't think I even go into the field spell stuff too much. If you hard open Spriggans, it's really good, obviously, because that means you can search the Therion King Regulus to get yourself another interruption. Same thing here. I do like to normal summon the as a normal summon the Basil ship, because you typically don't want to normal summon, like, you don't really have one. If these cards are in your hand, the Springans monster, it doesn't really matter that much, because the big card of the deck, the Tally-Ho, it can special summon from hand or graveyard. And this is kind of the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, in this case, you do get to use the Omni Negate. So, like, I do like this because you do get to use the first one. These are both Omni Negates, and then this obviously is going to leave the field when it uses the Omni Negate, so then you can special summon the other half of your Dragonar, so you kind of do get the most out of it, it feels like. This is an Eruption, and then this is F-Zero. So, like, yeah, they have, like, very unique end boards. Like, I played a lot of rank 4 decks, obviously. But this is, like, kind of a cool one. Now, this is where I think the deck probably should go, like, away from the field spell, just because if you hard open the field spell and you don't have a Spriggan's monster in your hand, well, you're going to be in a really tough place at that point, because you can't use the card. I think go to Theosis here. I mean, Merrymaker can kind of get you there in a weird roundabout way, but it's, like, usually not worth it at all. And I can go into Shangri-La. Like, this board's going to be, end board's going to be a little bit worse, but at the same time, like, it's a little bit more consistent. Like, you can kind of see the vision of where it's going. And the end board's still, like, really good. So you can go ahead and bring all of those back. Like, I didn't get to go into the number 99 package, but at the same time, this is a really condensed, good end board. Like, this is going to use a pop when I use my monster negate. Shangri-La obviously is going to trigger, and I have an Omni Negate. And then, like, if you do play such a simplified package like this, you're going to have more hand traps in your hand, so it's going to be like a little bit of a more rounded board. Jeez, I couldn't say that. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it. A Fenrir, which is nice. Imperm Ash, because I drew them. But everything else was, like, man-made, right? Everything else just kind of came through the combo. It's kind of fun. But I'm glad I finally like Springans. I am going to make a list, but I definitely have to decide, like, the play style that I'm going to go for before I kind of finalize things. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Then that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.